Hi everyone, welcome to MakerFun powered by Brilliant Labs. I'm Nellie, and I'm so glad you could be here today. Has anyone ever said to you, "May the force be with you"? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is. In fact, there are lots of forces that are with you. You must have heard of gravity. Gravity is what keeps the Earth stuck together in a giant ball, and what keeps it orbiting the sun. Gravity is one of the most noticeable forces around us, and it's not even the strongest. Today we're going to explore gravity, check out ways to increase our power against gravity, and harness the power of other invisible forces like magnetism. Kate and her friend Kate are going to a salvage yard to learn more about magnetism and how they can use it to harness great power.
Hi, this is Kate. Today I'm visiting my friend also named Kate at her family's metal recycling facility. Let's hear Kate's facts about these cool machines with super magnets. We have two machines. The machine with the magnet alone can pick up more than the machine with the grapple. The grapple has a smaller magnet on the inside. This machine will pick up less material at a time. We use these machines to help separate materials on the ground. We can then make different piles of different types of metals. With the machines, we pick up ferrous metals. Ferrous metals will stick to the magnet. Non-ferrous metals such as gold, silver, brass, copper, aluminum, and stainless steel will not stick to a magnet. These machines can be easily operated by anyone with heavy equipment experience, but it is highly recommended that you obtain a heavy equipment operator certificate. We are lucky that our dads can operate these machines. The machines with the magnets are currently in the metal scrapyard. Since they are attached to the machines with wheels, we can easily move the machines from place to place. We can also put them on a flat bed and move them to any location where they might need to use a magnet.
I can't believe they got to operate heavy machinery. They won't even let me drive a forklift. Maybe I can harness magnetism in some small way here at home. What do you think, Gracie and Emily?
Hi everyone, Gracie here again. The other day, my dad and my mom had to fish out my dad's keys from under the front deck, and that inspired Emily and I to create a magnetic fishing game that we remember from when we were younger. My parents were able to rescue the keys with just a coat hanger, but we wanted to make a full fishing pole with a magnet on the end so that we could try to fish different items out of a bucket. There's a lot of science going on in the simple magnetic fishing game like this.
First of all, a fishing rod like the one we're going to make uses a basic lever and fulcrum to help the person fish. If we think of a fishing rod as a lever that tips back and forth like a seesaw, we can see that the handle of the rod becomes a fulcrum, or the point that the lever moves up and down on. There's a reason why the handle, or fulcrum, is so far back on the rod. If the longer end of the rod is in front of the handle, the person can lift heavy loads, like bigger fish, much easier than if the handle was closer to the tip of the rod. We will see this in action with the game that we are making today.
A reel rod also has another simple machine built right in. The reel, or the wheel, that you wind the fishing line up on is a perfect example of a pulley. Pulleys are wheels that ropes or strings can be fed through and help us lift, lower, and pull things that would be too heavy for us to do on our own. Our fishing rod today won't have a reel, but it's important to mention it.
For this project, we will need a pole or a stick, some string, a magnet or two, some coins, anything but pennies, a bucket, printouts of items to fish for. You also need scissors and clear tape to attach the coins to the printout.
We thought it would be fun to turn this into more of a game, and instead of fishing for fish, our goal will be to work at cleaning up a fish habitat, or their home, and removing all of the pollution and garbage dumped there. So in our bucket, we will have some fish. But we will also have some stuff that doesn't belong there. Emily and I will take turns fishing in the pond, trying to pull out a piece of garbage. If we do, we will set it aside and get a point. If we pull out a fish, we have to return it to the pond and pass the rod over to the other person. We do not get a point for this. In the end, the person with the most points wins. That was a lot of fun. Our fishing pole worked really well, fishing out some of the pollution that we found in our fish habitat. Using magnets worked really well for this. But how?
Well, the magnet we used stuck to the coins for the same reason that the magnets stick to a fridge. There is an invisible force that we call magnetism.
Every magnet has two sides to it, a north and a south pole.
If you have two magnets that stick together, it's because the north pole of one magnet came close to the south pole of the other. We can remember this by thinking of the saying, opposites attract.
If we were to flip one of these magnets around though, so that the two sides facing each other were the same, north and north, or south and south, they wouldn't come together at all. In fact, they would do the opposite and push away or repel from each other.
Our magnet stuck to the items in our bucket in the same way because it was attracted to the coins. This is because the metal in the coins is very similar to the metal in the magnet.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. We're going to go for another round. Happy fishing and stay brilliant!
Today we're going to read about Galolin, a young Mi'kmaq girl who visits her grandfather Niskami. Niskami is using a traditional Mi'kmaq device called a draw horse. The draw horse helps him make the thin strips of wood that he'll weave together to make a basket. The draw horse uses a ramp, which is a type of simple machine called an inclined plane. Ramps and door stops are inclined planes. Simple machines have few or no moving parts, and they're used to change force and motion and make work easier.
Galolin learns about baskets. Galolin loves spending time with Niskamich. She wanders around the yard and finds him by his work shed, sitting on the draw horse. "What are you doing, Niskami?" asks Galolin. "I'm making baskets," replies Niskamich. "Why are you making baskets?" asks Galolin. "Well, that is a long story," says Niskamich. "When I was a young boy, basket making was very important to our family and to many Mi'kmaq families. Mi'kmaq were known far and wide for the baskets they made. Each family member had a role. My father and uncles cut pieces of black ash trees and used crooked knives to shape them into long, thin splints, just right for weaving. My mother and aunts designed and wove the baskets. It was a family project. Mi'kmaq families made all kinds of baskets. They made baskets to gather food and medicines, to hold fish or fiddleheads, or to hold tools when they traveled to fix things. They even made baskets to hold babies. When many baskets had been made, our families traveled to bigger communities where they would sell or trade their baskets for other items. Mi'kmaq baskets were well made and useful. They were very popular. Baskets are not just for carrying things anymore. Today, most baskets are made as pieces of art that represent our culture and traditions. Art? Questions Gowlin. Yes, Mi'kmaq basket makers today use different colors and designs to create collectible objects. They make earrings, miniature baskets, fish figures, and colorful Easter baskets. When I was young, Niskamich continues, it was easy to find the right trees for weaving baskets. Sadly, black ash trees are very hard to find today. We hope your generation can change that. Walalan Niskami. I have learned that Mi'kmaq baskets are about art, culture, and family. Exactly, says Niskamich. Now, help me pound these strips so Nugami can dye them to make your Easter basket.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. Have you ever tried to move something really heavy? Maybe you could have used a simple machine to help. Simple machines are tools that make work easier. The reason it's hard to lift heavy things off the ground is because they're being pulled towards Earth by a force called gravity. A force is a push or a pull on an object. The force of gravity is what pulls things towards the Earth. It's what keeps things on the ground and what makes things fall. If you want to lift something up, you have to be stronger than the force of gravity. One simple machine that can help with this is a pulley. A pulley has a wheel that holds a rope, and it can change the direction and the strength of a force. They have been used to lift heavy objects since as far back as 1500 BC. So how do pulleys make lifting things easier? The first way is by changing the direction of a force. It's easier to use your body weight to pull down than it is to try to lift up. By using a pulley, you can change the direction of a pull down and make it pull up on an object. That kind of pulley looks like this. Pulleys can also change the amount of force you need to use to lift something. Here's an example. It's much easier to lift the object using this pulley setup than it was using the other pulley setup. That means that I can lift the same amount using less force. That's because this setup creates something called mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage is how much a simple machine helps you move an object. You can tell the mechanical advantage by comparing the force the object feels to the force that you use in a ratio. In the first pulley setup, the strength of my pull on the rope is the same as the pull that the object feels. Since they're equal, we say it's a 1-to-1 ratio, or there is a mechanical advantage of 1, which means that it doesn't change the amount of force that I put in. In the second setup, when I pull the same amount on this one string, the object feels it coming from these two strings. That means the object feels 2 times the amount of force compared to my pull. Since the force is being multiplied by 2, we say that it's a 2-to-1 ratio and a mechanical advantage of 2. You can play with pulleys like this at home. All you need is cardboard, string, tape, scissors, pencils, and something to lift. To make a fixed pulley, which is a pulley that doesn't move, poke a hole in the cardboard and stick a pencil in. Then tape a piece of cardboard in front of and behind that hole to make sure the pencil can't fall back out. To make a movable pulley, which is a pulley that can move up and down, follow the same steps, but instead of a hole, cut a thin rectangle up the cardboard for the pencil to move. A pulley with both fixed and movable pulleys, like this one, is called a compound pulley. You can design yours however you like. When you're ready to use it, attach a string to what you want to lift and wrap it around the pulleys. Try different combinations and see how they feel. Have fun experimenting!
Let's keep exploring simple machines that you can use at home, like a pulley, a wheel, or a lever. Maybe you can start spotting some simple machines in your life. Simple machines seem to be everywhere. I have a pulley in my backyard. It helps me pull my laundry in off the drying line. Using simple machines, Karen has made a crank-o-matic. Check it out.
Hi everybody, this is Karen in Prince Edward Island, and we're going to make a machine that will use a couple of different elements within invisible forces. So for this project, we're going to use a couple of different elements that can be found within invisible forces. And so we're going to create a crank machine. And there you have it, folks. There is our crank machine. I'm so glad I persevered and really was patient and always had my problem solver hat on. This was a wonderful activity where I learned a lot about friction, invisible forces like gravity, levers and axles, cause and effect. I also learned about the invisible force of wind and how that had an effect on my machine as well.
Check out this cool invention by Alfred Kral. I bet you never thought it had pulleys and gears.
It's summertime, and who doesn't enjoy a big scoop of ice cream? But have you ever thought about who invented the ice cream scoop and why? Alfred Crowley, an African American, invented the ice cream scoop back in 1867, which makes the ice cream scoop more than 153 years old. The idea came to Crowley when he noticed a problem. Ice cream was always getting stuck to the spoon when you were trying to scoop it out. Servers had to use 2 hands to scoop the ice cream. Alfred Crowley invented a way to fix this problem. In 1896, he patented a mechanical device called the ice cream mold and disher. The design consisted of a built-in scraper with gears and lever. Simple machines which scoop the ice cream out of the spoon, making it super easy to use with just 1 hand, keeping ice cream and other foods from sticking. Crowley's design is still used today and has not changed much since its invention.
That ice cream looks so good, I could go for some right now. Check out the project Lennon's been working on. Is he using any simple machines?
Hi, welcome to another MakerFun activity. My name's Lennon. We're going to be making some catapults today. The forming parts of the catapult are the lever, the base, and the bucket and the counterweight. We're going to make our own catapult to propel pom-poms. I have already glued my arm to my bucket, so all we have to do is build the base and the counterweight. So what we're gonna be doing for the base, we're gonna be putting 6 or 7 popsicle sticks together, and we're gonna tie them together with elastics. And then we're gonna need to put elastics on. Now I'm gonna build the lever. And sometimes you're gonna need an adult to help with this part. This is our catapult, simple as that. When we push down, this is called potential energy. When we let go or launch, this is called kinetic energy. The path of the pom-pom is called a trajectory. I wonder what could change the distance that our pom-pom flies. What if we had added more popsicle sticks to our base? I just added 4 more popsicle sticks to my base. Let's test out our catapult. Let's test out our other catapult. Let's test out the big one. Always make sure that you launch soft things and never at people or animals. Can you think of other machines that launch like catapults? I hope you have fun making a catapult with me.
Most archaeologists
think that the wheel was first created in the Middle East, which used to be part of an ancient civilization called Mesopotamia. The first wheels were potter's wheels, which were used to make clay pots. In the center of the wheel was an axle, which allowed the wheel to spin. It took hundreds of years for people to figure out that the device could be used for moving from place to place, with inventions like the chariot and the wagon. Surprisingly, some of the earliest wheels were actually found on toys. We had a lot of fun looking at invisible forces and simple machines today. I hope you keep an eye out in your life for it. If you use invisible forces or simple machines to make something, please share it with us. Send it to us through our social media, which can all be found at brilliantlabs.ca, or you can even send something in the mail. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much to these lovely people for being in the episode and for being behind the scenes helping to make it happen. But most of all, thanks to you for coming. The force is with you. Stay brilliant. I'll see you next time.